What's good, Ravens fans? It's your boy JG from the Ravens space. Thank you guys so much. We're going to talk about the top 5 players from PFF. I'm also going to talk to you about some other stuff that I agree with and I don't agree with. So we're going to jump right in. Let's get right into it, looking at PFF's top ranked defensive players. Sorry, this is defense. I've already done offense, so go check it out. So let's just start here. Kyle Hamilton, the number 1 ranked, not only he's the number 1 ranked player on the defense, he's also the number 1 ranked player on the entire team. There's some things that I want to point out, but first, let's just get into the top 5. And I'm only going by the rankings, right? For example, Michael Pierce has a high grade, but doesn't have enough snaps to qualify, so I'm not going to count him. All right, number 1. Let me just get in. Let me get into it. Number 1 is Kyle Hamilton. Number 2 is Justin Houston. Number 3 is Calais Campbell. Number 4 is Marlon Humphrey. And number 5 is Marcus Williams. Those are the top 5 Ravens players by Pro Football Focus. Now, I'm getting some detail. I'm going to show you guys some of the scores. So let's do it. And let's start, of course, with Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton has had a great season. There's nothing you can say about that. The season has been great. But I do want to say that he hasn't played enough snaps in order for me to put him in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year, right? And let's just look at it, right? You can see here he's played 600 defensive snaps. Just not enough. Just not enough, even though he's been excellent this year. Kyle Hamilton has the ability to do everything a defensive player can do, and you can see that by his PFF scores. He has an 87.6. And again, guys, in PFF, if you're between 80 and 90, you are an elite player, right? A 90 and above is like an MVP player. So on defense, his overall grade is 87.6. The number 1 ranked safety in the league. His rush defensive rating is 87.7. His pass rush is 85.7, and his coverage is 83. This literally means, guys, he can do every single thing at a high level on the football field, according to Pro Football Focus. And that deserves applause. That deserves congratulations. That deserves everything. You have to give it everything. That's an excellent, 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 excellent day. An excellent, excellent commitment to the game. An excellent, excellent player. And he's proven that. Again, though, in my opinion, this is my opinion, in Jason's opinion, 600 snaps is not enough for me to call you the best defensive player on the team. When I get to that player who I think is the best defensive player on the team and who played best this year, I'll let you guys know. But it's not going to be, for me, Kyle Hamilton. All right, that's just what the truth is. Again, we're going to skip over Michael Pierce and Ojabo. They haven't had enough snaps, but we'll talk about them a little later. The number 2 is Justin Houston. We've talked about Justin Houston, 77 overall grade. Again, pass rush grade, 75, good player. There's an issue, though, I have with him, and I'm going to go with Calais Campbell, too. I'm going to include them both together, and I'm even going to include Marcus Williams in there as well. And the reason I'm going to include all of them in there, and Marcus Williams is number 5, is because even though they had good seasons, due to injuries and, being cycled in and out, they don't have enough snaps in order to, in my opinion, be severely impactful to the overall season. So let's just take, for example, Justin Houston only played 423 snaps. Guys, I hope you can see that. Calais Campbell only played 583 snaps. That's less than half the number of snaps in a season. Marcus Williams played 700 snaps. That's a little bit more than half, but it's only 95 more snaps than Kyle Hamilton, who only played 600 snaps. Okay? How can me and you having a conversation and you played half the snaps and I call you one of the best defensive players? Again, when you're on the field, because this rating takes in. The rating means if you're on the field. And I get that. On the field, you can't take anything away from them. But in the season as a whole, you can, in my opinion. Who I would say is the best player this year on defense, and it's been the same in the past too, is Marlon Humphrey, guys. Marlon Humphrey had an excellent season again. The 14th cornerback in the league, according to Pro Football Focus. This includes 118 cornerbacks, guys. So that's definitely a top 10% corner in this league. When it comes to his different abilities, the only thing he was average in is run defense, but he was good in coverage and great in pass rush. But more importantly, he's played 1,107 snaps. To me, that means something. He's played more snaps than some of these other players combined, right? He's played more snaps than Justin Houston and Calais Campbell combined, right? He's almost played more snaps than Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams combined. That means something. You know, you have to take that into account. You can't just not take that into account. He has, like, let's just take an example. He has more coverage snaps. So, again, remember in football, I know you guys know this, but I'm going to say it. In football, you know, when you're on the field, the offense either runs the ball or passes the ball, right? If you take out all the runs that he does and all the times he blitzed, he still played 100 more snaps than Kyle Hamilton, 300 more snaps than Justin Houston, 100 more snaps than Calais Campbell, and, a couple more snaps than Marcus Williams if you only include passing plays he played on. When you add in the 400 running plays, then he blows them out the water. You know what I'm saying? So he has to be, if there's a defensive MVP for the Baltimore Ravens, it has to be Marlon Humphrey. And I don't know how you can argue that. And I've seen some people talk about Kyle Hamilton for Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. No, not at 600 snaps. No, that's not in my NFL. I'll tell you that. So, but let's, again, we went through them. I think Marlon Humphrey would be considered the best. You're asking me. He would be the best defensive player on the Baltimore Ravens this season, just based on his ability. He's a top 5, regardless of snaps. And then when you take the snaps in, it puts him over the top for me. Let's talk about some people outside the top 5. Roquan Smith, a very good season, 71, which is good. Run defense is 78, which is really good. But he was average in coverage and pass rush over the entirety of the season. Now, that does include when he was not on the Ravens. So, it is 100% fact that when he came to the Ravens, he played much better than he did when he was in Chicago, where they didn't want to give him a contract and they had no hopes of making the playoffs. Stone, he's here as well. Geno Stone played great, and this is one of the things I agree for Pro Football Focus on, and it's going to spring me into what I agree with in regards to Pro Football Focus. Geno Stone played excellently, and deserves all the credit for that. I think that if he had more time and room and to actually grow with the starters and have that rapport with them, he would be even better. When he leaves this team, which will happen, I don't know when, it might be this year, next year, whatever, he is going to be on a team and he's going to be great, similar to a lot of Ravens defensive players who have left us, because I just think he has the ability to get it done. Oh. Sorry about that. Again, shout out to Broderick Washington. I'm going to get back to Patrick Queen because that's something that I want to talk about because I don't agree with that. But the last thing I agree with is Marcus Peters' ranking, I think, is accurate. Just not a great season from Marcus Peters this year. We've seen him have much, much, much better seasons. He's coming off the injury. That and the coordinator didn't really do him any favors. Coming off the injury and the coordinator saying, hey, go cover Tyreek. Hey, go cover Mike Evans. One-on-one. You're Marcus Peters, get it done. That's not fair. And even if he was healthy, the NFL is so hard for cornerbacks because of the talent level and the rules. You just, consistently you can't expect to win at the cornerback position one-on-one. We've even seen some of the best. We all, coming into this season, think Patrick Surtain was a top cornerback. Patrick Surtain gets scored on. And they can't win football games because their offense can't score more than 20 points. He's one of the best corners in the league. We all believed coming into the season that Jalen Ramsey was number 1. When the team knows that you're the only cornerback and you have to do everything, and they find out ways to attack you, there's nothing you can do. The offenses are too good and too sophisticated. So I just didn't like that, but it reflects his grade, and I agree. He's had an average season. And, a couple more plays, it would have been below average, in my opinion. All right, now let's get to some of the things that I disagree with. I disagree wholeheartedly, and I want you guys to see. Patrick Queen, 69 is a good rating. He should have a rating in the 70s. He's played great this season. And I think it's BS Absolute BS that his grade is that low. Patrick Queen deserves more respect. Please put some respect on that man's name. He's had a great season. I would argue, as a total collective, right, from week 1 to week 18, Patrick Queen has had a better season than Roquan Smith. And I know all y'all love Roquan. I like him too. We all, Roquan is the best. Great. He's very good. Patrick Queen, if you want to say he's not as good, he's one step below. He's one step below, and this season he put it together. Now, again, if we want to take his whole body of work, his entire career, obviously Roquan Smith is light years when it comes to the entire body of work. I'm talking about this one season. In this one season, I think Patrick Queen has had a better one season than Roquan. Now, again, I understand you're not going to believe me. You don't care, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying my own opinion of what I saw on the field. So, take it how you want to take it, but that's what I believe. And so that's something I did not agree with. Patrick Queen, I think he's just rated too low. You can see here, 69 is not enough, in my opinion, for Patrick Queen. Another thing that I disagree with is JPP. If you have a 56 rating, guy, that's bad. That's a bad player. I don't think JPP was bad this year. I think he was good, even. Not great, for sure, but he can be in the 60s, I think. I think for example, there's no way in hell. Listen, there's no way in the world that Adolphe Owe had a better season than JPP. I don't know what game everyone was watching. All I know is that Adolphe Owe missed tackles, couldn't get past people. The only time he even got any pressure on the quarterback is on stunts, where they really couldn't engage him, versus JPP that was getting sacks and swats and pressures. And I just think that, I think there has to be something that I'm not seeing here. But what I did see, he was definitely better for sure. I would argue Brent Urban was better than Adolphe, even though Brent didn't really play that much. But I just didn't agree with that. So it is what it is. You guys let me know how you feel about the defensive rankings. I want to know your opinion. Thanks, and go Ravens.